Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Agosto Language School. This is an exam prep lesson. This is a free lesson, and our idea is to give you an idea, really, of how we work during the lesson. All right? So, Annie, I think that you can share the next. Okay, let's start with that. What do you know about B2 and C1? You can use the chat, you can talk. Come on. What do you know? What information do you have?
I think B2 first is a high intermediate level, and C1 is an advanced, isn't it?
All right. Annie wrote here, C1 seems harder than B2. Okay.
Yeah.
That's right, Manuela, you were right. Okay. Any other thing? Okay, let's move on. Annie, the next. You were right, Manuela. So B2 certificate shows that you have an upper intermediate level. And then it means that you can communicate very well about many topics. So you have confidence, you can communicate very well. The difference with C1 is that you can express yourself fluently in any situation. And guys, pay attention to the number of words that you need to have to do a B2 and the number of words that you need to have to do a C1. When we prepare students for B2 or C1, we are preparing you to get a certificate. It doesn't mean that we are going to prepare you to reach this level. Ah, Luciana, but my writing is not so good. Okay, we are going to work on your writing. Oh, Luciana, I don't have the strategies to read. Okay, we are going to work on strategies. But it doesn't mean that you are a basic student and you are going to be an upper intermediate student because you are doing the prep course. Or, oh, I am a basic student and I will be an advanced student because I am doing the prep course. No, it doesn't work like that. So you need to have the level. All right. Evelyn, Maya, Carolina, you are here. I know your level because you talked to me, Bia as well. You talked to me and I told you, okay, you are a C1, that's all right. When you talk to me and I see that maybe it's not a C1, I tell you, and then you go to a B2 or you go to another class to do the preparation for the prep course. This is what we do. All right? Annie, the next. Let's see some similarities and differences of B2 and C1, talking about the exam. Next, Annie. Annie's controlling everything. As you can see, here we have a B2 and a C1. And don't worry, because we are doing this part very fast, because our focus is the class, really. We want to give you the class. After the presentation, I will share the PDF with all of you, so don't worry, because you can see everything. Take a look at the score. That's the main difference. The test format is the same, so from 2025 on, we are going to have more computer-based tests than paper-based. Number of papers 4, exam length, and the focus is a bit different. In B2, everyday English. In C1, academic and professional English. This is the focus. All right? Annie? Here, we give some details of the papers, but then you are going to have everything on your PDF document because we are going to share. And you can find this information on Cambridge site. If you go to Cambridge, everything is there, but we are going to share with you. All right? Now, Annie.
Now you're gonna be with me for the next, I guess, 40 minutes, 30, 40 minutes. So if you become my student, you're kind of gonna see what it looks like to be my student. At least I hope you enjoy it. I know you will. Now, I want to start talking with you. I'm going to show you a photograph. This is the photograph. I'm going to give you 30 seconds for you to look at the questions, think a little bit, and then we're going to start discussing. If nobody volunteers, I'll volunteer someone. Don't worry. Hi, Catalina. I love that you turned your camera on. Great to see you.
Oh, good to see you, Carol. I was about to say hello in the chat. Well, welcome, dear. It's good to see you here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I was having problems with my internet. Sorry about the delay.
That's okay. That's all
That
right.
happens. Because of us talking to Carolina, you actually had more than 30 seconds. So who would like to go first? What can you see? Anyone?
I can talk. Um, what can I see? All right, I see a woman. She's traveling, probably. That it's a beautiful place. She's probably traveling for leisure or something. Um, I have to say like the object or something?
Not necessarily, only if you feel like it.
So that's it. A woman, she's enjoying herself.
That's great. That's great. And what does the photo make you all think about? Does it bring you any questions? Does it make you wonder about anything?
It brings me like a good vibe. She looks like she's relaxed because of the way that she's holding her head. So it feels like vacation or something. It's really a good vibe. I wish I could be like this right now.
All of us, Mia, all of us.
To be quite honest, I am originally from Salvador, but I have to say that I actually disagree. I don't really like the beach. I love the cold. So if I were to say how it connects to me, is that it reminds me of my past life. How does it connect to you? Bia has already told us she wanted to be at the beach. How about you all?
I think that the photo connects to me because I am already on vacation, and in the end of July, I am going to travel, and I wish that I am going to be like the woman in the picture.
Oh my God, that's good. That's good. I'm so happy that you're already on vacation. I envy you right now. And I would like to know, how does it probably connect to other people? What other stories, ideas might others have about it, about the whole situation? I think about São Paulo right now. We're all feeling very cold, right? And some people, not me, but some people love the hate the cold, love the warm weather, and they're missing that. Do you agree with that, maybe? Yeah. This is one of the things that I like to do at the beginning of a lesson, just to get you going, to get you thinking about the topic. If you were to guess, what is the topic of tonight's class?
Vacation.
Vacations, traveling, trips. Interesting. So, on that note, what kinds of trips can you see here? There are some that are very specific, and I need a specific name. If you don't get it, I'll accept it, but I'll have to show you what I plan.
Road trip? Is
Hmm?
it the third?
The first one,
The third? I don't know. She's on a road, maybe.
okay, it could be a road trip is usually characterized by a car, but that's
Okay,
a good
okay.
guess. It's called hitchhiking.
Oh, oh yes. All right.
Something that I would never do in my life. I'm not that adventurous.
Mhm.
We also have camping.
I'm also not that adventurous. I'm afraid of bugs. I have a phobia. So no.
Hiking and snowboarding, maybe? I don't know.
Backpacking, hiking. Yeah, good, good. Everybody commented on that. You said a vacation,
Is the last one a cruise?
a cruise. Good, awesome. This one, the first one, I am calling a beach trip because it's just like relaxing, vacationing, etc. And I would love to hear your guesses for this one here. What would you say that is?
A family trip?
A family trip. Wonderful. That's not the word I have. Any other guesses?
Maybe a snowboarding trip? I don't know.
You're not wrong at all, but I had chosen a sponsored walk. What's a sponsored walk? Well, usually people buy a package and they usually walk through the forest. Not very common here in Brazil, I think, but in other countries it's quite common, like going during winter. They're very common as well in Ushuaia in Argentina, where people pay for the walk and anyway. Now, I am going to give you a task. I'm not going to participate in the next moment of the lesson. I don't know how you're gonna organize yourselves, but I would like to hear you discussing what might be difficult in each kind of trip.
I think I wouldn't be able to put together the camping thing. I don't know how to say it. Maybe I would get seasick from the cruise.
Yeah, I think I would have the same problem as Maya about the doing the
tent,
camp,
I think.
right? So putting together it, and also I would be very scared about the animals around, like all the bugs and stuff. Like I would be probably super allergic. So it's not my favorite one, but I love backpacking, like the hiking. It's awesome. I love it. And it's also like just for a day, so we don't have to sleep in the nature. So I think it's better. It's my favorite, I think, from all of them.
I think that for different reasons, in all of the kinds of trips, it would be difficult to have a rainy day. On the beach is not nice to stay on the beach raining. Uh, when when camping, I think that the rain, uh, when it's raining, it's very difficult to stay inside the tent because it becomes very uh, it's not wet, almost wet inside too. And and also in a cruise, it would be not be nice. It was rain.
I would really not be comfortable hitchhiking. Like getting someone else's car, not my thing, no.
I feel like if mobility is an issue, the only option here would be the cruise. The other ones, the person wouldn't be able to, well, maybe the beach trip, depending on how accessible it is. But generally speaking, if anyone has a mobility problem, the only one that would be inclusive would be the cruise. Apart from that, if the person doesn't like bugs, then maybe none of them. And yeah, those could be some difficulties. Yeah.
That was an awesome discussion. Just so you know, this wasn't exactly like the exam, but this is similar to part three in both B2 and C1 speaking paper, in which you have a collaborative task. Obviously, during the collaborative task, you're going to be doing it like in a pair or maximum a trio, not with like five, six other people. But I actually think you all did really amazingly at this point. You are so organized and everybody took their turn. That was so nice. Thank you. That was really cool. I also like the language that you were using. And one of the things that we sometimes worry about when it comes to talking exams and preparing for an exam, about, oh my God, I need to have the most advanced, the most cutthroat, the most showing off kind of language possible. And that's not true. Everybody understood everybody. Everybody was able to share really relevant information when it comes to the task at hand. You had a little bit of a personal idea sometimes, you discussed some problems, etc. When we think about showing off, this is the kind of vocabulary that you're kind of thinking about. I'll give you 2 minutes to read and check if you see any new words, anything that's like super different. Good, good. So everybody's basically done. One thing that I'm going to say is everybody, I'm not afraid of silence during classes. So when you need to read, and I'm telling you, you're gonna read long text. This is quite short in comparison to what you're gonna be reading. I'll give you time. We're all gonna be silent. You're gonna have uh, um, enough minutes to do the task and everything. We're gonna talk about the strategies. And usually what I will do is ask you, any new pieces of vocabulary, anything that catches your attention, something that, well, I didn't know this word. What, and also, what do you feel about the text?
Well, I noticed there are some vocabulary that I didn't know. I don't know actually. For example, the first one, backpacking, the second expression in bold, to take the roof with the smooth. This is new for me. I've never seen it before. What else? The cruise, the hassle. I didn't know that. It was new for me. And the last one in bold, unpredictability. I don't know if this is the right pronunciation. So there are new words for me in this kind of exercise.
Very cool, very cool. Just one thing, you actually were you said unpredictability perfectly. There's
Really? Thank you.
yeah, see? But the first one that you mentioned is take the rough with the smooth.
The rough.
The rough. So you need to take what's difficult with what's easy. You need to like accept there's going to be really high highs and really low lows, and you need to enjoy it all, and everything needs to be awesome. Before I explain, does anyone know what the hassle means?
Isn't it like when something's difficult, but you try it's yeah, something that direction.
Yes, there is also this idea that is connected like with the time and like packing and getting ready and going. And so like hectic, the hectic life of a traveler. So very good, very good. Now you can already start using the rough with the smooth and the hassle in your speaking, and you're already going to sound totally advanced. That's actually what we're gonna be doing. Unpredictability, by the way, is that something's not predictable. You don't know necessarily what to expect out of something. And well, I showed you lots and lots of vocabulary. Do I expect you to finish this lesson and remember everything? Not really. Every lesson, you're gonna be exposed to like 10 pieces of new vocabulary. Every lesson, that's very common. If every week you take one or two pieces and you start incorporating it into your vocabulary, think about it, a whole semester of classes, every week, one or two. After 20 weeks, you're likely to have 20 or 40 new words into your repertoire. And that's way more important than memorizing fixed phrases and using them unnaturally. Because what the exam actually wants from you is that you sound natural, that you sound easygoing, and that every new word, every expression that you use makes sense within the context of the conversation, of the text you're writing, the genre you chose, etc. Okay, so it's really not all about showing off all the time and being perfect, but actually sounding like a speaker of English should sound. And there's room for mistakes, always, okay? There will be moments where I will correct you, like with Manuela, that she said one word that was mispronounced and we got it correct. But if you have a problem with a preposition or a conjunction or anything, does it affect understanding? Is it really necessary that you be corrected all the time? Not always. Sometimes, yes. Sometimes, not really. So don't worry, I'll never. Lou and I will never get you like afraid or feeling like it's not a safe space for you to make mistakes. We embrace mistakes. Mistakes are awesome.
They are. We love mistakes because we learn from mistakes. They are memorable. So this is a
Exactly.
safe place to be. And this activity that Annie brought, we do it for C1 and B2 as well, in different levels, of course. And we don't expect you to memorize everything. It's not a memorization course. It's a
No.
preparation course. Okay? So, Annie,
Now, all that I've done so far is actually to prepare you. So notice we have had reading, speaking. You have listened to a lot from me, from Lou, because now you're gonna be doing a task, just like the exam. This here is an adaptation from B2's exam, listening part 3. Okay? In listening part 3, you hear 5 speakers, and you need to match the 5 speakers to 8 options. So 5, 8, 3 are extra. I'm going to take it easy with you all. gonna have here are 3 conversations, so not speakers, conversations. All I want you to do is to match them to the kind of trip they are probably taking. Okay, you have 3 conversations, 6 options. How many options are extra? You can just raise your hand and show it using your fingers. 3 options are extra. Very good. Awesome. So I'll play the audio for you. You will only listen to it once because you will listen to it again doing a different task. Okay? Okay, I'll start playing it. Remember, match 3 are extra.
Extract 1.
It'll be getting dark soon, won't it? What about over there? That looks quite a good place to stop and camp for the night, doesn't it?
Maybe.
Very peaceful.
Don't count on it. If I'd known about the mosquitoes, I'd never have signed up for this. But none of that'd matter if, there were rapids, white water, crocodiles and panoramic landscapes. I mean, we're just getting bitten on a muddy river closed in by dull, monotonous little trees. It's not as if we had to come here. There were lots of other places we could have gone if only we'd realised.
Oh, Don, if only you'd put on some repellent. And if you'd please just stop moaning for a while, perhaps we could start enjoying ourselves a bit. Just think what a lovely change this is from city life.
Some change. Even if we stayed at home, it'd be better, because I'd be relaxing in front of the telly right now, instead of paddling up this miserable river.
Don!
Extract 2.
So, what'll we do if the weather breaks? Do you think we'll have to call it a day?
Call it a day? No way. Not after all the hassle we've had to get this far. All the money we're raising, and all those people we'd be letting down. Look, we're taking all the right equipment. Wet weather gear, good boots. You really can't ask for more. Anyway, we've committed ourselves to this thing, so we've got to go through with it. Look, if things start looking really bad, we can always put the walk off for a while and set off a bit later.
OK, but we were warned about this, you remember? Northwest Spain can be pretty icy at this time of year.
Of course, but that's all part of it, isn't it? And if we don't do it, we'll never live it down. I'm sure we'll make it. I mean, our names will be dirt if we don't.
That's a good point. And I guess they'd pay up anyway, even if we didn't make it, wouldn't they?
Hopefully. And anyway, a little hardship never did anyone any harm.
Extract 3.
So you managed to get off the beaten tourist track during your trip too, Kate?
That's right, and like you, to places which are really for the more intrepid traveller.
Right. It's a good idea for people going there on their own to do a bit of advanced planning, but not too much, because I think if you leave yourself open to whatever comes up, it can be very rewarding. Of course, you'll form all sorts of opinions about what you see, more or less on the spur of the moment, but that doesn't matter, because if you're open-minded about things, you'll soon discover you were mistaken about a lot of them. And you have to take the rough with the smooth. You can't expect it to be all plain sailing when you're travelling to oases and places like that.
I agree, and I really appreciated sharing buses and ferries with all sorts of interesting people. You know, I learned a lot about the country just from chatting to them. It could all have been quite dull otherwise, waiting for transport in villages and so on. At times, I felt I wanted the journey to go on forever. It wasn't all delightful, but there was something unexpected round every corner.
That's right.
So, who wants to take a wild guess? Extract 1?
I guess
think-
camping. Sorry.
That's camping. What gives away that's camping?
She literally says we can camp somewhere there.
The mosquitoes, the repellent, being away from city life. Extract 2.
answered walk, maybe.
Why?
Because they're paying and they don't want to let the person down.
Very good. And extract 3?
Backpacking.
Awesome. Can you tell me why?
Because they were talking about trying to deal with things that are unpredictable. I don't know. They said many things, but I don't remember now.
And the whole kinds of trip that they were taking the rough with the smooth. I just love that Manuela kind of like chose the 3 pieces of vocabulary that were super important for this audio. That was awesome, right? Had you seen this lesson before, Manuela? Because you're like spoilers on, mode activated. That was really cool. But yeah, very good. Very good, everybody. Now, task 2. This is actually exactly like the exam. This is part 1 of the C1 advanced listening paper. You're gonna listen to the extracts once again. During the exam, you listen to it twice. Now you're only gonna listen to it once more. And all you have to do is choose A, B, or C according to the conversations. Okay? During the exam, you don't have time to read before you listen to the extract. And because we're preparing you for the exam, guess what? You won't have time to read before you listen to the tracks. So I'm just gonna play and you're gonna accompany the audio and you're gonna answer as you go. Okay?
Extract 1.
It'll be getting dark soon, won't it? What about over there? That looks quite a good place to stop and camp for the night, doesn't it?
Maybe.
Very peaceful.
Don't count on it. If I'd known about the mosquitoes, I'd never have signed up for this. But none of that'd matter if, there were rapids, white water, crocodiles and panoramic landscapes. I mean, we're just getting bitten on a muddy river closed in by dull, monotonous little trees. It's not as if we had to come here. There were lots of other places we could have gone if only we'd realised.
Oh, Don, if only you'd put on some repellent. And if you'd please just stop moaning for a while, perhaps we could start enjoying ourselves a bit. Just think what a lovely change this is from city life.
Some change. Even if we stayed at home, it'd be better, because I'd be relaxing in front of the telly right now, instead of paddling up this miserable river.
Don!
Extract 2.
So, what'll we do if the weather breaks? Do you think we'll have to call it a day?
Call it a day? No way. Not after all the hassle we've had to get this far. All the money we're raising, and all those people we'd be letting down. Look, we're taking all the right equipment. Wet weather gear, good boots. You really can't ask for more. Anyway, we've committed ourselves to this thing, so we've got to go through with it. Look, if things start looking really bad, we can always put the walk off for a while and set off a bit later.
OK, but we were warned about this, you remember? Northwest Spain can be pretty icy at this time of year.
Of course, but that's all part of it, isn't it? And if we don't do it, we'll never live it down. I'm sure we'll make it. I mean, our names will be dirt if we don't.
That's a good point. And I guess they'd pay up anyway, even if we didn't make it, wouldn't they?
Hopefully. And anyway, a little hardship never did anyone any harm.
Extract 3.
So, you managed to get off the beaten tourist track during your trip too, Kate?
That's right, and like you, to places which are really for the more intrepid traveller.
Right. It's a good idea for people going there on their own to do a bit of advanced planning, but not too much, because I think if you leave yourself open to whatever comes up, it can be very rewarding. Of course, you'll form all sorts of opinions about what you see, more or less on the spur of the moment, but that doesn't matter, because if you're open-minded about things, you'll soon discover you were mistaken about a lot of them. And you have to take the rough with the smooth. You can't expect it to be all plain sailing when you're travelling to oases and places like that.
I agree, and I really appreciated sharing buses and ferries with all sorts of interesting people. You know, I learned a lot about the country just from chatting to them. It could all have been quite dull otherwise, you know, waiting for transport in villages and so on. At times, I felt I wanted the journey to go on forever. It wasn't all delightful, but there was something unexpected round every corner.
That's right.
Okay. The audio script. I think Lou can send you the audio script. If you don't have it, Lou, I still have it and I can send it.
Yeah. And this is a C1 audio. Because in this lesson, we are trying to show a bit of B2 and a bit of C1. And then this is a C1. It's more difficult than B2. But Annie, if you send me the audio script, I can share with everybody. Okay?
Thank you so much, teachers. Is the problem thing for me is the British accent. I think it's the most challenging for me, the listening when there are British speakers. So it's challenging for me because when I studied English, I've always heard the American accent. So British accent is a little bit weird for me sometimes, and it's huge challenging.
Good
Do you have any
news.
tips to get accustomed with this? Because I think most of the listenings from B2 first or C1, I don't know the kind of the accent they usually have there, but the British accent is terrible for me. Do you have any tips for practice more this?
Well, can I say something here? Good news. It's not only British. We have different accents here. And in the past, Cambridge was only British. Nowadays, that we have global English, Cambridge brings different accents from different parts of the planet. And this is really good. During the course, Manuela, we work on strategies. Of course, today we don't have time to do that, but then we work on strategies because we try to prepare you to be able to listen to everything. But of course, you are not going to understand 100%. What do you have to understand? This is the thing that we do during the preparation course. It might be scary now. I say, oh my God, I don't understand everything. But during the classes, we work very well with that. So don't worry. Okay?
There's another thing that this audio and this task, you usually hear everything. That you hear all the options, but then you need to be able to identify the distractors. Okay? Although we're not gonna focus on the strategy of identifying distractors, as we are checking, I can discuss with you to check whether you identify them. So number one, what is the complaint the man makes? You can use the chat if you don't feel like saying.
I'm gonna say I put letter A, would prefer something more exciting, but I was a little bit like, because he was talking a little bit more about mosquito bites and stuff, but I think he would prefer something more exciting because he was like, no, we could have done something different. We could have been doing something different. So I put letter A, but I'm not sure.
Very good. It's letter A. He talks about it being dull, monotonous, and it would be better to be watching something on TV. And it's like, not really. He talks about the insects, but he's not talking. Actually, the lady says, well, you should use repellent. So it's actually the woman, not him. And how does the woman react?
I think it's letter C, but I was in doubt about B or C.
It is letter C. It is letter C. She reprimands him as she should because he was annoying. Come on, enjoy the ride. Take the rough with the smooth. Very good. So far, 2 out of 2. Number 3, why does the man insist the journey should go ahead? They have promised they would do it. I love that Carolina started mouthing the answer as I said. That was great. See, connection. And yes, they promised. They were like, well, we told them we would do it, so we have to. And that's it. What about the fourth one? What will happen to them? If you put they will be less well regarded, then you got it right. Because they said, oh, our names will be dirty in the mud and everything. But then, well, they'll pay up anyway. If everything goes wrong, we can try later. But the thing that will happen is they will be less well regarded. Notice how less well regarded is the only expression that we didn't hear. They talk about money, economy, people paying. They talk about trying again in a different moment, but we never hear less well regarded. So you can see how the exam functions, right? If you hear very like exactly that thing, it's likely it's a distractor. If it is a synonym or a similar expression that you need, oh, okay, maybe that's the answer. Okay. Number 5. What is the man's idea? I'm loving your faces, Mariana. It's awesome. I keep waiting for you to also say it. When you make a face, you're like, maybe it's. So I'll give you the answer. No problem. It's letter B. That's when he uses take the rough with the smooth because you need to be ready to try everything new. And well, problems will happen, but they will happen. You cannot be ready, so it's unpredictable. You cannot prepare. And avoid hasty judgments. This is what people do and that they shouldn't. Da, da, da. But they need to deal with what they encounter, and that's it. And how does the woman feel about her journey? She was grateful to her traveling companions. She was very happy with the people that she met. Of course, she's relieved that she completed it safely, but that's not what she talks about. She actually talks about how it was good to meet the people and to be around the travelers around the whole trip. And based on that, now that you don't have to focus on getting the right answer, do you agree that sometimes camping can be dull and monotonous? I do. Carolina, you're nodding. Why do you think that?
Because you face so many problems. I've already tried camping. It's so many things you're not used to, and it's a lot of days doing the same thing. You're seeing grass and trees forever.
Yeah.
So I prefer beach trip. I don't really like camping, but I appreciate people who likes it because there are problems.
Yeah, it makes the word go round, right? Yeah. I'm going to direct this question to someone because of time. It's the final question of the night, so don't worry. But Mariana, because your audio is already turned on. Some people don't think open-mindedness is important when traveling. Do you agree with that?
I don't think I do. I feel like you will meet different people even if you don't go far. You don't have to leave your city or your country to meet um, new people who think differently from you. So it might be one of the most important skills you have.
I totally agree with you. Very good, very good. We still have some time, and now I'm going to give it back to Luciana. I really hope you enjoyed your time with me. But now
Thank you.
back to Luciana and a question for you all.
Yeah, thank you, Annie. It was amazing. And I would like to ask you, what else would you like to know about the exams? If you have any question, do you? As you could see in this lesson, so the last part of the lesson with the questions is similar to part 4. As you could see here, all the lesson was about holidays, trips, kind of trips. So all our lessons, they are contextualized because we believe that in this way, speaking part 4, both exams, yes, B2 and C1, we believe that when we have a context, you learn better. For those who talked to me in the interview, so Evelyn, Carolina, Bia, Maya, I showed you a piece of a lesson. Of course, it wasn't this lesson, it was a lesson about health, sports, because I like it a lot. And as you could see, all the lessons are contextualized, all of them. So here in this less than 1 hour, you had the opportunity to practice speaking, reading, listening. Luciana, what about the writing? Homework. And then, so I tell you that we have 4 students per group because Annie and we give individual feedback. When you write a piece, or when you write an essay, a report, a proposal, a letter, a review, we correct with love and care and we give individual feedback. For this reason, here in my school, we don't have more than 5 students in a group. 5, okay, yes, Annie. So I told Annie, we're going to have 5. Annie said, okay, Luciana, don't worry. 5, it's okay. No more than 5 because we can't deal with more than 5 students. That's it. So this is the way I work, and we have been very successful so far. 100% of students get their certificates because we are amazing. Okay. We prepare you very well. And at the beginning of the course, it might be a bit scary because you are going to see lots of things and lots of new things, but don't worry, things will get better. So the first class is a shock, the second class, the third class, the fourth class, I said, that's okay, I can do it. So please, it is a shock. So Manuela, I can see Manuela's face. So I can see you here, Manuela. Manuela is saying, my God. Don't worry, because at the end, everybody gets the certificate. If you do your part, of course. If you don't study, you will never get a certificate. So you have to study. Here you come to classes. We give you all the guidance, we give you all the support and all the things that you need for B2 and C1. Fantastic. But then there is homework. You need to study during the week. If you don't study, if you don't do your part, you are going to waste your money. As simple as that. Okay? So if you enroll, so Evelyn is here. So Evelyn signed the contract and paid. Maya signed the contract and paid. Carolina paid as well, signed the contract. You are our students. And I am sure you are going to do your best. because you know it's an investment. And then at the end, you are going to have a certificate. All right. And I will be very proud. We are going to be very proud, yes, Annie? Okay. Yeah,
One
so don't
thing,
worry. Yeah, so
one
this
thing that I would
lesson,
say is, in case you're thinking about the B2 exam, like this lesson was geared towards C1, the
yes.
audio was C1, the topic was C1, the questions, but like, if you feel like, oh my God, that's too difficult, well, there's B2. B2 is easier. It's all about communicating effectively with everyday topics. So you're gonna see it's not, I'm telling you, it's not impossible. The
No.
exam is much easier than it feels. And when you understand the exam, sitting it is just like, oh, okay, that it's just another Tuesday, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Mariana, trust me, believe me, it's gonna be easy peasy.
I will stop the recording now. Okay.